Hi, my name is Perumal Jegan. We have already accomplished three parts of phishing email analysis. In the first part, I explained how to analyze an email header and email body manually. In the part 2, we have seen few of the popular phishing email templates that you may see and how a phishing email look. And in the third part, we have seen some of the popular tools that may aid you while analyzing phishing emails. Now, today it is completely for email security. I'm going to explain what are all the email security mechanisms in place and a threat actor or malware author how can leverage the SMTP protocol for their command and control traffic. So this will be the today's concept, and without wasting a time, let's get in. As I said before, in phishing emails 4 room, we are going to learn how to defend against phishing emails. So let's see the introduction. This room has a machine. I already started it, and the introduction and the first part they briefly gave the various security mechanisms in place. And the first one is email security. And in email security, there are three protocols and the security mechanisms: SPF, Sender Policy Framework, Domain Key Identified Mail, and DMARC. And the second one is spam filters. An organization or an individual can manage to filter the spam emails based on the reputed email domains and the email labels. So what an organization usually do, they mark every external email with a label with a warning message. So if any email comes from the external domain, the user will get that label highlighted, and they will be more cautious while accessing that email. And the next one is email address, domain, and URL blocking. So once you analyze the phishing emails, the threat, I mean, the security analyst may manage to gather the email address and the domain details and the sender IP details, and they may apply deny for those found IOCs. And attachment blocking. Usually, the malwares and other threats spread via the malicious unknown attachments. So it is best practice to deny the unwanted attachment extensions. So, for example, if an organization is keep getting the PDF attachment, I mean PDF malwares, then they may simply deny the PDF sort of documents if there is no longer any use case. And attachment sandboxing, if you find any unknown attachment, you can upload that attachment into any online sandboxing solution, online or offline sandboxing solution, and you can find whether uh, it is possessing any suspicious activities. And the last thing is security awareness training. This is very very important. Though you apply all those security best practices in place, it is up to every individual, every recipient who receives the malicious email. If they are careless and they overlooked it, they might press any link or attachment by mistake that might cause the infection. So it is very important to create the awareness training among the users. And let's see what is the MITRE attack framework classifying. I mean, how phishing is classified in the MITRE framework. So if you see this phishing for information, under this, there are three sub-techniques: spear phishing service, spear phishing attachment, spear phishing link. And each sub-technique has its own sub-technique ID. So whenever they are representing these techniques with MITRE framework, they use these technique IDs, technique and tactic IDs. So this is just for your information. If you get time, you can open each and every concept and you can read through. All right. Now the next thing is the same screenshot they have given here. Software configuration M1054. One of the mitigation technique, use anti-spoofing and email authentication mechanisms. MITRE also gave the mitigation techniques and also its ID. In this room, we will focus especially on SPF, DKIM, or D and DMARC. So let's begin. Before that, what is the MyTray ID for software configuration? It is already given here. Let's put it here. So that is right answer. Now let's move on to the email security mechanism. The first one is SPF, Sender Policy Framework. So let's read through. As per DMARCian website, so this is the DMARCian website. I already gone through this website. This website classifies each and every terminologies related to the email security. So as per this website, SPF is defined as SPF is used to authenticate the sender of an email. So with the SPF record in place, internet service providers can verify that a mail server is authorized to send email for a specific domain. An SPF record is DNS text record containing list of IP addresses that are allowed to send email on behalf of your domain. So you can you can simply keep SPF like this in your mind. So if you see this diagram, you may understand it better. So the sender when sends the email originating email server, and the email transfer, the recipient email server, and once the recipient email server receives the email, it it looks for the SPF. So it looks the DNS for the published SPF records, and the SPF record will contains the list of IP addresses which are authorized to use the sender domain. So it simply validates the SPF record, and if the validation is succeed, then it allows the email to the user's recipient's inbox. Otherwise, it moved the email to the spam box. So this is the simple explanation of SPF. And you may ask how the SPF record will look like. So the format is this. So this is how a typical SPF record look like. And the start of the SPF record, SPF1, and IP, the specific IP which is authorized to use the domain mentioned here. Include specifies the domain, and the IPv4 they can mention the IP address, and hyphen all. Non-authorized emails will be rejected. So this is like the security, the filtering keyword. So if you add hyphen all, it will it will filter out all the unauthorized emails. And refer the SPF record syntax DMARCian here. So here are the other URLs that you may refer to. So if you go through this, they gave the mechanisms, and the notations denotes each action against the email, and the example. And if you see what is the difference between SPF all and hyphen all. So here they gave the difference between this. So if you use this wave kind of symbol, it denotes soft fail. If it is hyphen, it denotes fail. And also they gave what each action exactly does. So if I scroll down a little bit, refer to this DMARCian how to create the SPF records. So this is another URL where you can refer how to create the SPF record on DNS. So if you view the Google Admin Toolbox message header, we have already seen this tool in header analysis. So the header analysis clearly mentioned the SPF details as well. In this case, the IP is unknown, hence it's soft failed. And the above image shows the status of SPF record checks and reports back soft fail. So even though this task uses DMARCian for SPF related domain and online checks, many other companies do the same. All right, now let's try to answer these questions. What is the SPF rule to use if you wish to ensure operator rejects email without potentially discarding the legitimate email? Let's see the hint. So we need to look at this URL. When you read through the link provided in the hint, you may get the answer. Fast forward the word of DMARC. Now receivers are using DMARC to find any positive assertion that a domain is associated within the piece of email. In this context, wave all is the same thing as hyphen all, not pass. So both are almost same. Wave all and hyphen all. Both means not pass, but there are subtle difference. However, if you operate in hyphen all in your SPF record, you might run into an operator that discards otherwise legitimate email. Debugging this issue can be difficult. This issue could be sidestepped by using wave all instead of hyphen all. So wave all would be the correct answer compared to hyphen all. So I answered this and finally I got it correct. And we have to write the SPF rule. Hence we prefixed the v equal to SPF1. Okay. And what is the meaning of hyphen all tag? Fail. Let me try. Yeah, it is fail. And let's move on to the next one, DKIM, domain key identified mail. And as per the DMARC site, as usual, DKIM stands for domain key identified email and is used for authentication of an email that is being sent. So this is an authentication mechanism present in email like SPF. DKIM is an open standard for email authentication that is used for DMARC alignment. And DKIM record exists with DNS as usual. Like same as SPF, DKIM record is also present with DNS, but it is a bit more complicated than SPF. The appearance seems to be bit confusing compared to SPF. And DKIM's advantage is that it can survive forwarding, which makes it superior to SPF and foundation for securing your email. DKIM stands for Domain Key Identified Mail and is used for authentication of email being sent. And like SPF, DKIM is an open standard email authentication mechanism and that is used for DMARC alignment. DKIM record exists in the DNS, but it is a bit more complicated than SPF. Like SPF records, we can also view the DKIM record from DNS, and the appearance compared to SPF, DKIM appearance would be little bit complicated. And DKIM's advantage is that it can survive forwarding, which makes superior to SPF and the foundation for securing your email. So how does the DKIM record look like? So you are viewing the DKIM record, and the V equal to DKIM1 is nothing but the version of DKIM record, and K equal to RSA is the cryptography, and it's a cryptographic protocol. This is the key type, and it's an algorithm. P equal to the public key. Here you can see the random characters. It is nothing but the public key of that specific uh, private key used to encrypt the email. And refer the DKIM resource. So here they gave couple of other DMARCian link where you can read through and understand what is DKIM. DKIM selector. So before jumping into the next question, let's see what is DKIM selector. DKIM selector is specified in the DKIM signature header. So if you see this screenshot, you can see the DKIM signature header, and under this S equal to some random numbers and letters. So this is what the DKIM selector. So it indicates the where the public key portion of the DKIM keeper exists in DNS. The receiving server uses the DKIM selector to locate and retrieve the public key to verify the email message is authentic or unaltered. Authentic and unaltered. So the key simply is being used to detect the public key of the specific email. And the next one is another link, DKIM DNS record overview. You can also refer this link to view that and understand in detail. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The question, which email header shows the status of whether the DKIM is passed or failed? From the screenshot, I could see authentication results is holding the DKIM status. Hence, I answered that and I got it passed. Let's move to the next one, DMARC, domain-based message authentication, reporting and conformance. So this is the definition of DMARC. So let's see what it is. As per DMARCian, DMARC is an open source standard uses a concept called alignment to tie the result of two other open source standards, SPF and DKIM, to the content of an email. If not already deployed, putting DMARC record into place for your domain will give you feedback that will allow you to troubleshoot your SPF and DKIM configurations if needed. Actually, you can keep DMARC like this in your mind. DMARC is nothing but it is used, it functions based on both SPF and DKIM. If both passes, then DMARC passes. So like that you can keep in mind. And how does a basic DMARC record look like? So this is the appearance, DMARC, quarantine, and the email ID. Um, must be all in caps. It is not an optional. And if the DMARC check fails, then an email will be sent to spam folder. If you properly apply the DMARC policy, and aggregate reports will be sent to that email address. The email address is also mentioned to reporting. And refer to the DMARC, and they gave couple of URLs. Again, those URLs are DMARCian URLs for additional information about DMARC tags. So you can read those to understand DMARC better. And review the following resource about DMARC alignment. Let's use domain health checker from DMARCian to check the DMARC status of the Microsoft.com. So let's try that. So this is the domain health checker, Microsoft.com. And here you can see it checks all three security protocols, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. Your domain has a valid DMARC record, and your DMARC policy will prevent abuse of your domain by phishers and spammers. So this particular domain protected with all three email security mechanisms. So that's what we can see from this result. Perfect. Now let's try to answer the questions. In the details above, we can see all the emails that fail DMARC check will be rejected. So for your info, and which DMARC policy would you use not to accept an email if the message fails the DMARC check? And if you see the above screenshot, you'll be able to answer this question. Which DMARC policy would you use to not accept an email if the message fails the DMARC check? So in this line, you can see all the emails that fail the DMARC check will be rejected. So you can see the policy here, P equal to reject, and that would be the answer here. And let's move on to the next one. SMIME. SMIME is nothing but secure multi-purpose internet mail extensions. So let's see what it is. SMIME, you can go through this link, and as per the Microsoft, SMIME is a widely accepted protocol for sending digitally signed and encrypted messages. So you can see two main ingredients of SMIME: digital signatures and encryption. Using public key cryptography, SMIME guarantees the data integrities and non-repudiation. If you see this screenshot, you will be able to understand. Sender Bob, receiver Mary, and when Bob sends the plain text email, actually the Bob end it will be encrypted with Bob's private key, and the ciphertext will be transferred to the Mary's network. Once the Mary receives the ciphertext email, Mary can use Bob's public key to decrypt the email, and she can finally read the plain text. So this is the overall simple explanation of SMIME. And Microsoft documentation they gave, so you can refer this documentation to understand much about SMIME. And let's try to answer what is the non-repudiation. The answer is full sentence. Let's see the hint here. Check Microsoft reference shared in this task. So let's see Microsoft reference. What is non-repudiation? It loaded. So here they gave many more information about SMIME. If I scroll down, I can see the definition for non-repudiation. The definition is the uniqueness of a signature prevents the owner of the signature from disowning the signature. So this is the explanation of non-repudiation, the brief one. So let me post this here, and yeah, that is correct. Let's move on to the next one. SMTP status codes, SMTP traffic analysis, and SMTP C&C communication. So far, we have seen all those email security mechanisms. Now, let's move on to the SMTP status codes. To proceed with this task, we need to start the machine. I already started this. So let me add one more hour here. So SMTP status codes. Deploy the machine attached to this task. It will be visible to split screen. Okay, and in this task, you will examine the PCAP file with SMTP traffic. You will only focus on SMTP codes in this task. You must be familiar with Wireshark in order to answer the questions below. So let's try to open these links. And the first link contains the Wireshark display filter for SMTP. So this is the URL. And by using this display filters, we can filter the information that we want. And the next one, what are the SMTP codes and how to troubleshoot them? Even we can use this article to answer our question. And I already opened the machine that is provisioned by TryHackMe, and I have the traffic.pcap. All I need is to open that pcap with Wireshark. Now we opened the packet capture. So if you go to statistics and protocol hierarchy, you can view what are all the protocols involved in this packet capture. And I can see the layer 7 protocol is SMTP on top of the layer, and DNS IMF, Internet Message Format. So let's try to answer the question. What Wireshark filter can you use to narrow down the packet output using SMTP status codes? So they're asking the Wireshark filter we need to use to output the SMTP status codes. So let's read through SMTP response code. So if I activate the SMTP response code filter, it will display the packets with the SMTP status code. And that must be the answer here. Yeah. And the next question is, per network traffic, what was the message for status code 220? Do not include the status code 220 in the answer. So what is the message status for 220? So let's see that. I can see 220 here. If I open the SMTP, the SMTP response code is 220, and the response code, the answer is domain inside the brackets and service ready. So that must be the answer, domain service ready. Service ready. So yeah, that's the right answer. And the next question is, one packet shows a response that an email was blocked using spamhouse.org. What was the packet number and the status code? Spamhouse.org. So our objective is to find the spamhouse.org. I can see email blocked using spamhouse.org. So the packet number is 156 and the status code is 144. 156 and pardon me, the status, the response code is 553. So if you see here, you can understand it. 553 the response code, and the packet number is 156. 156553. Yeah, that's the right answer. And the next one, based on packet from the previous question, what was the message regarding the mailbox? Answer is the second party only without dot. The packet from the previous question, what was the message regarding the mailbox? When you look at this response code at the bottom, the second line, you can see the second part alone, mailbox name not allowed. So that is matching with the number of letters here. So that must be the answer. So let's try to answer that. Mailbox name not allowed. Mailbox name not allowed. Yeah. And what is the status code that will typically precede the SMTP data command? And let's check it in this article. What are the SMTP codes and how to troubleshoot them? So if I scroll to the bottom, I can see each and every SMTP status code and its definition. And in this, you can see 354 start mail input. The email header has been received. The server is now waiting for body of the message. So if I see the hint is same. The server is now waiting for the body of the message. And the answer is 354. So let's answer that. Yeah, we got it done. And let's move on to the next one, SMTP traffic analysis. So here we are. In this task, you will move beyond SMTP codes and analyze the trivial SMTP traffic. So let's close this and open this Wireshark display filter document for IMF, Internet Message Format. What port the SMTP traffic is using? The SMTP traffic always use port 25, and how many packets are specifically SMTP? So let's read through this Wireshark capture. I am filtering SMTP alone. If I do so, I'm getting total number of 512 displayed packets. So that must be the answer. Let's try to answer here. 512. That's the right answer. And what is the source IP address of for all SMTP traffic? So let's try to read that. What is the source IP? And the source IP, it looks like 10.12.19.101. 10.12.19.101. So that is the IP in every SMTP traffic. From there, the SMTP request is originating. I mean, the mail is originating. Yeah, that's the right answer. And what is the file name of the third file attachment? So, in order to check the files involved in this email traffic, you have to go to File and Export Object and IMF to export the documents from the file. So, the third file name, that's what they are asking. Delivered.eml, I guess. So, let's try delivered.eml. No, that's the wrong answer. Actually, they are asking the what is the file name of the third file attachment. That means they are asking the attachment name present in the third EML file found. So if I go through this particular page, the third file attachment. So when you open that EML file with the email client, you will be able to see the attachment name. The attachment name is nothing but attachment.scr. So that would be the answer, attachment.scr. Yes. And how about the last file attachment? So let's see what is the last file attachment. So this will be the last email, and the attachment is attachment dot zip. So it's a zip file. So that's what they are trying to say. Yeah, that's a zip file. And we successfully accomplished this. So if we move to the SMTP and C&C communication, so let's read this. Now we will take a look how SMTP has been abused by adversaries for C2 communications. So the earlier email traffic was showing that, and here is the mitrate technique. So let's open that. Application layer protocols. So you can see that every APT, I mean the threat actor ID. So these are all the threat actor names, and all these threat actors are using SMTP in their C2 communication or in some sort of malware activities. So that's why they are listed here. So the email protocols are one of the crucial protocols in mail malware traffic. And as per MITRE, adversaries may communicate using application layer protocols associated with electronic mail delivery to avoid detection and network filtering by blending it with existing traffic commands to the remote system. And often the results of those commands will be embedded within the protocol traffic between client and server. So here they gave some notable APT names who are using the SMTP technique. And they also gave the mitigation technique here. As per the MITRE attack framework, which software is associated with using SMTP and POP3 for C2 communication? And if you read through, we may see the answer. Here I can see Goopy has the ability to use the Microsoft Outlook backdoor macro to communicate with C2. So Outlook, let's try Outlook. That's the wrong answer. So if I read the description of each APT, let's see who are all using SMTP and POP3. Actually, they are using SMTP secured and POP3 secured. So that is not the proper one. And core shell can communicate over SMTP and POP3 for C2, but the number of letters are not matching with that. And if I come to the bottom, I can see ZebroC uses SMTP and POP3 for C2. So let me answer ZebroC. ZebroC. I guess I'm pronouncing it properly. No, CY. Yeah, that's the right answer. And at the end, conclusion. So here they gave the incident response playbook. So let's open the incident response playbook. So I'll put this link in the description so you can refer. So in this playbook, they classified the phishing analysis into stages, and they also gave it in PDF and Visio format. So here you can see the diagrams involved in the phishing analysis. For the easy understanding, you can refer this link and you can store these documents somewhere handy. And lastly, the PCAP file we used in this room was from malware traffic analysis, the PCAP or other samples. So we used the particular traffic.pcap file gained from malwaretraffic.net. So per playbook, what framework used for IR process? So let's see, let's go to the playbook. The phishing incident response playbook contains all steps, 7 steps defined by the NIST incident response process. So NIST is the one of the popular frameworks. So let's try to answer that. Yeah, we got it correct. So just now we accomplished the phishing analysis 4. I believe you learned something new from this video, especially the email security mechanisms. Hereafter, if you witness any suspicious email, you can go and check whether the SPF, DKIM, and DMARCs are passed or not. And apart from that, we have seen some of the malware's SMTP traffic and how a malware can capitalize the SMTP protocol. So we have also answered few questions from the traffic. And with this, I'm going to finish this video. And in the upcoming video, we are going to apply the concepts that we learned in the earlier videos and gonna do some hands-on phishing email analysis. If you really like this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing my channel. You can add your opinion in the comment section. I'll be reading those, and feel free to share this video with your friends. I'll catch you next time with another exciting video. Until then, love you guys. Stay tuned.